I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Hey everybody, I have an announcement to make. We're expecting.
What? Did you think I was gone forever?
Hello, and welcome to Retrospect's look back at the legendary Duke Nukem series. I was hoping to finish this video before the release of Duke Nukem Forever, but I've been a tad distracted. Now, let's take a look back at where it all started. Now, Duke Nukem. Oh my. After the game's original release, Apogee became aware of the Captain Planet villain, Duke Nukem, who was also in the Sega Mega Drive Captain Planet game. Anyway, to avoid getting legally F'd in the A, Apogee renamed the character Duke Nukem. It was later discovered that Duke Nukem was not a registered name, so they kept that for the sequels. Duke Nukem was heavily inspired by comic books and old 80s action movies. The gameplay was reminiscent of old side-scrolling shooters, and the game's main objective was to reach the exit on each level to move on to the next, while blasting everything in your way with Duke's atomic pistol. Players can up their score by completing side objectives, such as destroying all of Dr. Proton's security cameras, or collecting letters D, U, K, and E, with bonus points awarded for fighting them in order. Duke Nukem was among the most impressive PC platformers of its day, featuring large stages with multiple paths and challenging gameplay. It had its limitations though, and the graphics and sound were seemingly primitive to say Sonic the Hedgehog, which was released 1 week prior to Duke. With the vast success of Duke Nukem, the original team eventually started work on a sequel. Duke Nukem 2 was not only the arrival of Duke's voice, although slightly different from the gruff, balls of steel speaking Duke that we know today.
I am back.
It was also where Duke's special kind of personality started to evolve, with appearances on Oprah and Duke Nukem merchandise littering the levels. The gameplay was much the same as in the original, with the ability to shoot upwards added, and the weapon arsenal, graphics, and sound beefed up. Duke Nukem 2 would later be released as a Game Boy Color semi-port in 1999 by the Australian company Taurus Games. Going toe-to-toe with Doom a week later, Apogee made sure to let the gaming public know of Duke's next endeavour into 3D. Picking up at the end of Duke Nukem 2, the first FPS title in the series not only added to Duke's voice, with John St. John taking on the role of voice actor and saying a bunch of lines from Evil Dead,
Hail to the king, baby.
but it also added several now iconic parts to the franchise, such as pop culture references and boobies. 3D Realms also added in multiplayer deathmatch into this entry, aptly named Duke Match, which added to the game's success. By 1997, the game had also been ported to Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn, and Sony PlayStation, and more recently on the Xbox Live Arcade and iOS. Ports of the engine were also responsible for games such as Shadow Warrior and Redneck Rampage. Not long after Duke's 3D release, 3D Realms announced Duke Nukem Forever, but I'm sure after this last decade and a half we're all pretty familiar with that story. With the popularity of Duke Nukem 3D, 3D Realms established a number of licensing deals to get other developers and publishers involved with Duke Nukem in order to satisfy fans before Duke Nukem Forever's release. The first of which was the Sony PlayStation title Duke Nukem Time to Kill. Much different to the FPS antics of Duke Nukem 3D, this title was a more Tomb Raider but not so crap third-person shooter, based on an alien threat messing with Earth's timeline. Duke Nukem Time to Kill was also the most popular Duke title to grace consoles, leading to other games such as Duke Nukem 0 Hour on the Nintendo 64 was also a third-person shooter with a story based yet again in time. But this title was much less Tomb Raider-y, and it was also much more difficult, with some levels in the game taking upwards of an hour to complete, and with no quick save or checkpoint function, death meant starting the level all over again. A direct sequel to Duke Nukem Time to Kill, Land of the Babes on the Sony PlayStation, had Duke this time heading forward in time to a dystopian future where all men on Earth had been obliterated, leaving just women. Pretty much a Duke Nukem paradise, man. The game played much the same as Time to Kill, and was panned by critics, and the least popular of Duke's console efforts. Many more games have also been released in the Duke Nukem timeline, including Manhattan Project, Duke Nukem Advance, Duke Nukem Mobile, and Duke Nukem Critical Mass. But those aren't very retro now, are they? So, who gives a shit? Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed the look back at the original King of Gaming, and I also hope you're all enjoying Duke Nukem Forever. I sure as hell know I am. That was Michael Towns from Planet Retrospect. Come get some.